Hey guys, welcome to Film World. Today I'm going to explain a romantic comedy film called The Perfect Date from 2019. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. Brooks Rattigan is a high school student preparing to go to the college of his dreams, Yale. He writes an essay to send to the college with all his soul, but his counselor asks him to rewrite it and looks deeper into it. When he comes back to his home, his dad welcomes him and says that he wants to talk to his son. The main reason for this talk is that he wants Brooke to go to the University of Connecticut, but Brooke is determined to only go to Yale. Brooke goes to the subway shop he works at and asks his best friend and colleague Murph for help in writing the letter, but he refuses to say that he's writing his own and cannot help him. As they are talking, another student, Reese, from their high school comes into the shop with his friend. Reese is talking to his friend about how he needs his cousin to go to her dance with someone else so he can spend time with his girlfriend. Brooke listens to their conversation and offers to go as his cousin's boyfriend in the hope to make some money and drive Reese's cars. Even though Reese is not happy with the car part, he agrees nevertheless. Brooke is surprised to see that Celia, Reese's cousin, is not a typical girl and she doesn't even want to go to the party. She asks to be dropped off at the book cafe and Brooks convinces her to go to the party, saying that he is sure they will have fun together. At the party, he sees a beautiful girl while dancing with Celia and instantly feels attracted to her. He's too busy looking at the girl that he accidentally steps on Celia's foot. As he is looking at Celia's foot, the girl approaches them and he finds that his name is Shelby. She invites them to an after party and he almost agrees, but Celia stops and reminds him that he has to take her back home. When he drops her back, he finds that she was faking her injury. She didn't let him get angry at her and said that she just saved him from going to the party and of snobby rich people and goes inside without waiting for his answer. Impressed by Reese's money and determined to impress Shelby, he asks his friend Murph to build an app for him. His idea of an app is like renting a boyfriend where people will hire him and they can also choose his character. Murph reluctantly agrees to develop an app for him. He tells Brooke that the app is to order him just like people order food. He also adds an extra feature in the app where Brooke could check his progress and track his money. Murph also markets his app on Reddit, which almost gives him an instant hit and he starts getting hired frequently. After a few days, Celia calls him and says that she needs him to be her fake boyfriend so she could make Franklin, a boy she has a crush on, jealous. When Brooke hears that they have to go to a party at Shelby's house, he instantly agrees. He tells Celia that the next time when she wants his services, she should use his app. On their way to the party, Brooke tells her about the crazy dates he has experienced. When they reach there, Shelby welcomes them happily. Celia tells Shelby that Brooke is from Darren instead of saying that he's from the working class and later tells him that he is trying to impress Shelby. He will have to keep this little thing in mind. After seeing Franklin at the party, Celia instantly gets nervous and starts fidgeting. Brooke doesn't like her strange attitude and drags her toward Franklin and introduces them to each other and start talking on music, so they have a common topic to talk about. Brooke leaves them when they indulge in a conversation and go to drink something. Shelby approaches him there and says that he's funny and few guys are funny and rich. The compliment from his crush uplifts his mood more. Later, he meets Celia again, who tells him that his plan worked as she has a date with Franklin and she asked him out herself. She says that there's a birthday party a few weeks later and they need to break up publicly, so it is the perfect opportunity. Brooke says that if he got into Yale and got together with Shelby, it will be like living his dream life. When they come out of the house, Celia says that her dad knows the president of Yale and that she can try and get him an interview. After some days, when he goes back to his work, Murph seems a little distant. When Brooke asks him about that, he says that lately Brooke is so busy with his fake dates that they barely spend any time together. Brooke promises him that they will hang out on coming Saturday. Later, he goes on another fake date where he receives a call from Celia. She tells him that she got him an interview with the chairman of undergraduate admission at Yale. She says that she will pick him up to go to the interview. The next day, when Celia comes to pick him up, he is dressed too nerdy. He says that he wants to impress the chairman, but Celia takes off his glasses and cardigan so he can look normal again. When they reach Yale, Brooke is too nervous, but Celia says that he should be himself and that will be good for him. During the interview, the chairman asks about his interest outside of academics. Brooke says that he is lately into honeybees, which seems to attract the chairman's interest as he is also interested in honeybees. When they come out after having the interview, they seem to get along very well as the chairman talks to him casually and says that he can bring his application directly to him instead of going to his secretary. Celia hears them talk about swapping honey and got angry with Brooke for lying to the chairman. Brooke says that it's nothing wrong if he did a little research, but Celia says that lying to the chairman is different from lying to his fake dates or anyone else. Brooke doesn't get fazed by her accusation and says that she also lied to Franklin and they both lied just to get what they want and it is nothing wrong. Later, they both had dinner with Murph. During the dinner, Brooke and Murph told their silly high school stories to Celia. When Brooke goes to pay after eating, Murph tells Celia about his mother and says that she left Brooke's dad and is now married to some rich surgeon and has 2 children. He says that she sends a picture of her family to Brooke and his father every Christmas. Listening to this, Celia feels very sad for Brooke but didn't say anything to him when he comes back. After a few days, Celia goes on her date with Franklin. He says that he's not sure about this relationship because Celia has a boyfriend and they look very interested in each other. Celia says that they are in an open relationship and are going to break up soon, so he doesn't have to worry about or nervous about it. They start to talk about their interest after that and have a good chat. During their talk, Celia finds that Franklin is a graffiti artist and the painting she and Brooke made fun of once was painted by Franklin. This information doesn't sit well with Celia. Meanwhile, Brooke goes to meet with Murph, but he is upset with him because Brooke ditched him on Saturday night and he had to go to watch zombies with a group of Germans. When Murph storms away from him, Brooke goes out and calls Celia. He says that he is practicing their breakup and they need to do it in front of Shelby and Franklin so they can get their attention. On the night of party, Celia gets dressed more like a girl and they plan their whole breakup scenario. Celia is talking to Franklin at the party when Brooke approaches them and accuses Celia of cheating on him. During his rant, he gets carried away and says some mean things and Celia gets hurt by his words. She asks him to stop, but he continues talking, so she slaps him and goes away. He still thinks it was an act and messages Celia saying her acting was very great. As he goes out of the hall, Shelby approaches him and says that she kind of saw this coming because Celia and Franklin were talking all the time at her party. Taking the advantage of the situation, Brooke kisses Shelby and that seems to work as she asks him out after that. When he goes to the shop the next day, he finds that Murph is not there anymore and switched his shift with another worker, Toby, for the rest of the year. Toby tells him that Murph doesn't say anything except that Brooke is a selfish person and only thinks about himself. Later, he goes on his date with Shelby in a very posh restaurant. They talk about their future and Brooke is impressed to find that Shelby has almost everything planned even though she says she has no plans. When she asks about his plans, he says that he was so focused on going to Yale that he didn't think anything further. Shelby is not very happy with his revelation. After eating, they go to the dancing hall where they see Celia. Brooke says that he's not bothered about by her presence and they can go on their date. As they are going to sit at a table, one of Brooke's fake date approaches him and says thank you for his services. Shelby is confused by what she is saying and asks Brooke about it. He didn't lie to her and tells her everything about him, including that he's not from Darren, and said all this just to impress Shelby as she is too good for him. Angry with his lie, Shelby storms away saying that she is too good for him because she is not a liar. After she goes away, he tries to approach Celia, but she also leaves him saying that she is not his backup. Brooke comes back home and tells his dad about all the events. He says that he started to use the the app to find out who he is, but still doesn't know anything about that. His dad says that the best way to find is to compare his past and what he wants to be in the future, and the difference is who is now. After talking to his dad, he goes to his room and declines all the requests he receives on his app. The next day at school, he finally made up with Murph and later that night invites Celia for the coffee. He tells her that he will accept the offer from the University of Connecticut because he doesn't want to pretend to be someone else only to get into his choice of school. He gives a letter to Celia and goes out of the cafe. In the letter, wrote that he was determined to get what he thought was best, but that made him ignore his genuine relationship. He says that the time he spent with Celia was the time he was himself and asked her if she will accept him as his date. Celia later visits him at his house and apologizes for slapping him and says she will do it again if he had done something stupid again. Celia then asks him to go out with her on a date and takes him for a dinner. He is surprised that she brought him to the shop where he works at and the place is decorated for a party. Murph and his crush of a long time are also there. Murph tells Brooke that he also got accepted into the University of Connecticut and they can be roommates there. Celia accepts his request, which he had written in a letter, and they share a sweet kiss after that. All four of them spend the night dancing in the decorated shop. To watch more explanations of these kind of movies, click on the videos on your screen and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.